There's a version of you that never made it here. Not because you failed, not because you weren't capable, but because life slowly, quietly redirected you. You feel it late at night, when everything is quiet and your phone stops glowing. That strange thought, is this really who I was supposed to become? You don't say it out loud, but it sits there, heavy, unanswered. You didn't make one big wrong choice. That's the part people get wrong. It was smaller than that, quieter. It was the time you stayed where you were because leaving felt risky. The moment you lowered your standards just a little to make things easier. You told yourself you were being realistic, responsible, mature. But deep down, something else was happening. There was a version of you that wanted more. Not more money, not more praise, more honesty, more presence, more alignment. That version asked uncomfortable questions. What do I actually want? What am I pretending not to see? And every time those questions came up, you got busy. You planned, you prepared, you waited, you scrolled. You told yourself, not now, later. And later became years. No one talks about this kind of loss because nothing technically went wrong. You survived, you adapted, you kept going. But something faded. You feel it when you look at old photos. Not nostalgia, confusion. You remember how alive you felt, how certain things mattered more. Now your days are full, but strangely hollow. You do what's expected. You say the right things. You play the role well. So well that people think you're fine. But there's a quiet grief you don't name. Because how do you grieve someone who never officially existed? It shows up in subtle ways. That irritation you can't explain. That restlessness that doesn't go away. The feeling that you're always almost ready, but never quite there. You tell yourself you've changed, that this is just adulthood, that everyone feels like this. But the truth is, you didn't become someone else. You slowly abandoned parts of yourself to stay safe. You learned which dreams were too much, which desires were impractical, which parts of you needed to be quieter to fit in. And the version of you that never got to exist, they're not gone. They're just waiting. Waiting every time you feel that tightness in your chest. Every time silence makes you uncomfortable. Every time you ask, is this it? That feeling isn't random. It's recognition. Because some part of you remembers who you were before you learned to shrink your expectations, before you mistook comfort for peace. You're not haunted by the past, you're haunted by unrealized potential. And the hardest part? You can't blame anyone for it. No villain, no dramatic failure, just a series of reasonable choices that slowly moved you away from yourself. The version of you that never got to exist isn't angry. They're quiet, patient. They show up in moments of stillness, in that feeling you can't shake. And once you notice them, you start to realize something unsettling. The question isn't, where did my life go wrong? It's, how long have I been living as someone I don't fully recognize? And that thought doesn't ask for answers. It just waits.